I had just settled into my new apartment when my daughter came to stay for weekend. She was only 8, quiet, observant, the kind of child who notices everything even when she says nothing. She walked in, looked around as if something fell out of place, and without a word headed straight to the bedroom closet. She opened the door, stared inside for a long moment, then turned to me with a trembling voice and said, "Stand here, now." I did as she asked, not because I understood, but because there was fear in her voice I couldn't ignore. She pressed herself against me in that small corner, her tiny frame stiff and shaking, her heartbeat racing against my side. Before I could ask anything, the front door creaked open. Slow, heavy steps echoed through the apartment, the kind of footsteps you recognize without needing to see the person. I froze. She did too. In that instant, I knew this wasn't a stranger. After the divorce, my ex-wife said she was trying to move on. I never asked for details. Maybe I didn't want to know. Still, I saw signs, clothes she couldn't afford, excuses that didn't make sense, drawings my daughter made of our family with 2 men in them, one that looked like me and one without a face. I brushed it off as imagination. Children draw their pain when they can't explain it. But standing in that closet corner, listening to those familiar footsteps, I realized it wasn't imagined. He was real. His shadow appeared across the living room floor. My daughter's grip tightened on my sleeve. She mouthed, "He thinks you're gone." And then it hit me. She'd hidden like this before. She'd waited for him to leave. When the police finally took him away that night, they called it a misunderstanding. No signs of forced entry. No weapons. Just confusion, they said. But confusion doesn't leave small finger-shaped bruises on a child's wrist. My daughter fell asleep beside me. Finally safe. I did not sleep. The next morning, I started digging. Not loudly, not emotionally, but carefully. Old messages from my ex-wife, misdates, unexplained expenses. A name kept appearing, Mark Ellison. I searched deeper. Court documents, past records, 3 restraining orders, 2 sealed assault cases, 1 dismissed because no one testified. And one more thing, his face, I knew it. He had been in my military unit years ago. I'd testified against him. He should never have known where we lived. He would only know if someone told him. I went to my ex-wife. She opened the door looking tired, eyes swollen. I asked if she knew who he really was. She didn't speak. Then, quietly, she nodded. He told her he could protect them. She said that she wouldn't have to rely on me anymore. Her voice tried to sound like justification, but it was guilt trying to breathe. I let her talk, then handed her everything I had found, documents, photos, proof. I walked away. Some betrayals are too intentional to forgive. I didn't go back to the police. That would have been too kind. Instead, I made a call to someone who once owed me a favor. By the end of the day, that man's world began collapsing. His parole revoked, his accounts frozen, his name flagged everywhere it mattered. That night, he called from a blocked number, yelling threats. I stayed silent until he finished. Then I said, "You did this to yourself," and ended the call. I wasn't angry anymore, just focused, precise. By morning, there was no trace of him left in my systems, like he'd been erased. A week later, my daughter and I stood in the same apartment, near that same closet. She looked up and asked, "Is he gone forever?" I nodded. She asked again, "Promise?" I said yes. She smiled a little and went back to unpacking her toys. Children heal fast. They believe promises still matter. I watched her hum softly while placing her stuffed animals on the shelf, rebuilding her tiny world. And in that moment, I knew I wasn't trying to repair what had broken. I was making sure nothing would ever break her again. Some corners aren't for hiding. They're where you wait, silent, steady, until the truth walks in and you're strong enough to make sure it never hurts you again.